Hello and welcome to another video. Just a few minutes walk from Hiroshima airport is this garden. It's called Sankeien Garden and it was opened in 1993 to commemorate the opening of Hiroshima airport. The name Sankeien means garden of three sceneries, and within the garden there are three zones. First, there is a zone that represents the mountains of Hiroshima Prefecture. Then, there's a zone that represents the rural villages of the prefecture. And then finally, there is a zone that represents the Seto Inland Sea. The garden is perhaps particularly well known for its hydrangeas and its red leaves in autumn. Anyway, as you can see, one of the main features of the garden is this large lake. There are streams and waterfalls that lead into the lake, and there are a range of paths around the lake. Some of the paths are quite high above the lake and they give obviously a good view. But you can also walk right down to the lake's edge, as we are doing just here. These flat bridges cross, I suppose, what we could call a small inlet to the lake, this inlet in fact, which is fed by a stream which tumbles down the hillside from a smaller pond up at the top of the hill. Meanwhile, there are two arched bridges as well as flat bridges, and these give a great view out over the lake. Like that, in fact. The arched bridge you can see in front of us just now was actually closed for quite a long time, but it was refurbished maybe last year or 2 years ago and reopened. I have to say, it's a lot steeper than it looks, especially when you're walking down the slope. It's a good job there are those little ridges in the path. Even with those though, I certainly wouldn't want to try crossing that bridge on an icy day. This is another view up into the hillier part of the garden this time. You can probably get a better idea of the steepness of this bridge from this shot. Anyway, let's walk around a little further. Today is the third day of a 3-day weekend here in Japan, and I thought the garden would be much busier than it actually is. I have hardly seen anyone at all while I've been walking around. Not that I'm complaining, because I like having the place to myself, really. It certainly makes taking photographs and videos much easier. We're moving steadily towards spring now, but the lake water certainly is still cold enough that the koi carp are, let's say, very lethargic. Anyway, I'm going to head up into one of the small hills around the lake now, because, well, there's something I'd like you to see. Obviously, at this time of year, there's not really that much colour in many areas of the park. Even so, it's a pleasant place to wander around. And as you do wander around, you'll probably, sooner or later, come to this long stepped path, and at the end of the path is this waterfall, which is rather beautiful, I would say. It's called Sandan no Taki, which means 3-stage waterfall. Anyway, there's another path on the other side of the stream that comes down from the waterfall. So let's cross the stream and take that path now. From these stepping stones, I always enjoy the view back along the stream up towards the waterfall. You can't actually see the waterfall from here, but you can certainly hear it. Anyway, let's take the path up the other side of the little stream now. So, as I said just now, the name of the waterfall here in Sankeien is Sandan no Taki. Interestingly, in the north of Hiroshima Prefecture, there is a gorge called Sandankyo, which means three-stage gorge. There are 3 waterfalls along this gorge. It's an incredibly beautiful place actually, and I'm sure that this was at least part of the inspiration for the waterfall here at Sankeien being called Sandan no Taki. There was a JR railway line up to the gorge from Hiroshima Station until 2003, but unfortunately it was closed. I feel very fortunate to have been able to travel on it in the years before that time. If you saw my video a few months ago on Yasuno Station, that was on the old route up to Sandankyo. Anyway, back to the present, this is Sandan no Taki again. Even now, at the end of winter, there's plenty of fresh looking bamboo at the back of the garden. I think I mentioned earlier that much of the garden is pretty bare, colourless almost at this time of year. So you may be asking, well, why did I choose this time of year to pay a visit then? Well, here's the reason. The plum blossom is out. Now, you may have seen my video from a few weeks ago of the plum blossoms in not Sankeien, but Shukkeien, which is the Japanese garden in the centre of Hiroshima City. And you might, just might I suppose, be asking yourself why those blossoms had bloomed much earlier than these ones. Well, people often say that the difference in temperature between Hiroshima City and then Saijo and this area of the prefecture where the airport is 3 to 4 degrees centigrade, which I assume makes enough of a difference that the blossoms blossom later. Anyway, they're very much in blossom here now. They're very beautiful, and actually that's why I paid a visit today. So, let's take a look around. By the way, the tower you can see is the control tower for the airport. It really is right next door. Anyway, I'll shut up for a little while now and let you enjoy the plum blossoms with me. I do hope you agree that the plum blossoms here in Sankeien really are a beautiful sight. But please don't think that the garden is only worth a visit in February for these blossoms. As I said, there's plenty to see all year round. There are the hydrangeas in early summer, there are the autumn leaves in autumn, obviously, but even if there's nothing special, the garden is still a really beautiful, peaceful place just to have a wander around. So if you're flying to or from Hiroshima airport and you have an extra hour or so, then please take a stroll across. As I say, it literally is 5 minutes walk from the airport. I'm sure you won't regret it. Anyway, that's just about it for this video, I think. Have you ever been to Sankeien? Please leave a comment if you have. Thanks as ever for watching, and I hope to see you in another video very soon. For now though, goodbye.